please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
30 minutes, but first let's get straight to the market action of the day. A late slide on the Wall Street meant that the market gave up pretty much almost all the gains to close absolutely flat in trade today. So as you can see on your screen, the Nifty gave up the 10,800 mark, while the Sensex saw a sharp dip and lost over 200 points towards the end of day's trade. The Bank Nifty very clearly mirrored the benchmark indices, with HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, for instance, turning out to be very clear losers. Mid-caps also failed to hold on to their gains and closed a tad in the red. Let's bring in Anuj Singhal as always, who's standing by for a deeper analysis of the day's trade. Anuj, clearly not a great start to the week. Is this profit booking at play then?
Well, the market cooled off after a good start. Today looked like the day the market was finally, going to take out the 10,820 mark on closing basis. It didn't happen. Mid-caps too saw some profit taking after a good first half. It was still in the green, so let's start with stocks gaining ground today. Bajaj Finance and Bharti Airtel were the top gainers. Grasim and Ultratech also did well, and Sun Pharma and Maruti also on the gaining side. On the losing end, you had names like Tata Steel, HCL Tech and IOC. Few gainers in the F&O space, PC Jeweler, though it cooled towards the end, Balrampur Chini and Chen Petro, while on the losing side, you had stocks like Castrol, Concor and National Aluminium, NALCO. All in all, the market's message is clear. It's a ranged market where you buy the dips, you sell the rallies, and there's absolutely no follow-through on either direction.
Yeah, I think the market has been prepared for a range-bound rally for sure. But thanks for taking us through that analysis. Let's talk about the big global story first. The US President Donald Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un will meet in Singapore tomorrow. Now, we will be getting you latest updates from our reporters from all sides. CNBC The Unisoon for now will tell us about the China's perspective. CNBC Akiko Fujita is in Seoul and will tell us what South Korea expects out of this summit, while Sherry Kang is in Singapore, who will get us about how North Korea media has been reporting about the summit. First, let's go across to Sherry Kang for North Korean perspective. Sherry, take it away.
That North Korea's state-run media is heavily reporting on his Singapore trip this morning, as well as the potential summit with the President Donald Trump. That is set to happen tomorrow, by the way, on Sentosa Island, that you can see in the backdrop behind me. And just speaking of what North Koreans are reporting on its leaders, on their leaders' trip, KCNA, for example, is saying that North Korea is hoping to achieve, quote, permanent and durable peacekeeping mechanism on the Korean Peninsula because it's a changed era. So perhaps, yes, they did talk about denuclearization, but the peacekeeping mechanism is what North Korea is, of course, aiming for. And get this, there is a school of thought that Kim Jong-un was planning to do all this and hoping to achieve this kind of historic summit, but of course, on the condition that he has his nuclear program as well as ICBM capabilities under his sleeves, which he did achieve, or which he claims to have achieved late last year.
President Moon Jae-in just released a statement a short time ago with some pretty bold language to match the big personalities that we will see sit across the table from each other over in Singapore. The South Korean leader calling this a once-in-a-century meeting, with marking a historic milestone from war to peace. Now, in terms of what exactly he would like to see out of these meetings, he says he expects to see a grand agreement that will be reached to reduce the hostility on the Korean Peninsula and ultimately lead to denuclearization. But of course, there are questions about how denuclearization will be defined by each side. The South Korean president also praising both the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as well as President Trump for what he says was strong determination in resolving North Korea's nuclear issue.
China has a lot of influence over this process, even though Beijing isn't going to be physically in the room. The most obvious sign of that is the arrival of Kim Jong-un in Singapore on an Air China plane that was on loan from Beijing. Beijing has been the economic lifeline for North Korea. It's been a diplomatic ally for decades, and the Chinese government, especially Xi Jinping, have many reasons as to why they would want to see this summit go well. The official line has been repeatedly from Beijing that they want dialogue, they want denuclearization. Probably there is some level of discomfort in Beijing among some of the officials because of this idea that the U.S., unlike in past years when they've been continuously engaging North Korea in a different framework called the six-party talks, which would involve the Chinese in as a more of a broker. That this time the talks would be directly between the United States and North Korea, with China a bit on the sidelines, still influencing the process, but not so directly.
Okay, fair enough. That's a detailed analysis of the Singapore summit. And of course, we will be bringing you all updates through the week. But for now, global investors are upbeat on equity ahead of the summit between Donald Trump and North Korean leader. It's green across the screen for now in Europe, with the German DAX up by about 0.5%, FTSE gaining about 72 points, and the CAC also in the green, up by about 0.2%. So that's as far as the European markets is concerned. And as I was saying, this follows a largely positive session in Asia, where markets in Japan, Korea, as well as Hong Kong are in the green. So look at that, Nikkei gaining about 109 points, Hang Seng up by about 105 points, and the South Korean Kospi also up by about 0.7%. Let's quickly pull up the commodity market as well. In commodity, crude prices continue to fall, with Brent crude trading 1% lower at 75.6, and NYMEX also at the 64.9 mark, down by about 1.2%. So the pressure as far as crude prices are concerned obviously continuing there. But let's get to the big interesting story back home that transpired over the weekend. The Narendra Modi government has decided to allow professionals from the private sector to fill the 10 joint secretary positions across several government departments. Now, the move is intended to open the doors of bureaucracy for individuals without really needing to sit for the UPSC exams. Now, the person must be at least 40 years of age on the 1st of July 2018 and must be a graduate from a recognized university or a recognized institute. The government has said that the decision to appoint top officials to the lateral entry mechanism will give every individual and every Indian a chance to grow. Now, while a number of senior IAS professionals have welcomed this move, saying that it would increase competition, the opposition party has condemned the move.
We need to know more. We will have a number of questions. We will address it separately. We will raise a number of questions. Let us see what the government's answer is before we come to a final conclusion. But there are serious misgivings about the advertisement that has appeared. But there are a number of questions that deserve to be asked, and we will, in the next couple of days, ask those questions.
He doesn't offer, he says you can compete, can join, you can come take the exam, you can, or interview, whatever is decided, and you joined in the selection process. If you get selected, you will be taken. It's a good proposal, I welcome it, because we need people with more knowledge of modern science, mathematics and so on to enter in.
अलग-अलग सर्विस से लोग आते हैं. अगर बाहर से कोई आदमी जो है कॉम्पिटेंट है, गुणवत्ता वाला है, क्वालिटी वाला है, उसको ये मौका दिया जाना चाहिए. और उनके लिए कोई ऐसा नहीं, कोई लंबी सर्विस उनके लिए नहीं है, 3 साल और 5 साल की बात है. तो मुझे लगता है कि एक्सपेरिमेंट के आधार पर, प्रयोग के आधार पर निर्णय लिया गया. और पहले जब 2005 में निर्णय लिया गया, उस समय तो जब ये अपने रिफॉर्म कमेटी की डिपार्टमेंट से रिफॉर्म कमीशन की रिपोर्ट आई थी, उसमें बात, उसमें कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट थी. बाद में भी कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट के ज़माने में आया. इन विषयों को हमको पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं करना चाहिए.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी इनके जरिए अगर अपने विचारधारा के लोगों को, अपने संगठन के लोगों को, अपने उन लोगों को यहाँ लाना चाहती है जो उसके जो संगठन है या संघ परिवार से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं, तो ये बहुत ही गलत होगा प्रशासन के नाम पर, प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था के नाम पर, निष्पक्षता के नाम पर.
Always, of course, voices of dissent when there is a change. We will discuss the pros and cons of this and get you various viewpoints through the day. But let's talk about the big story from power sector. Earlier today, the interim finance minister, Piyush Goyal, met with the power minister, R.K. Singh, to discuss the Allahabad High Court's order on the RBI's February 12th circular. Now, to put this into perspective, the stressed power companies will be allowed to present their cases to the ministry within this week. Remember, the Allahabad High Court had put on hold auction against the power sectors under the RBI stressed asset framework. Anshu Sharma is here with exact details. Anshu, what exactly did the interim finance minister say in the press conference today? And, what was the conversation that transpired between the power and the finance minister?
Interim Finance Minister and full-time Coal Minister met his counterpart from the Power Ministry, R.K. Singh, and discussed the recent Allahabad High Court order, which was given to stay on the RBI circular, which was out on February 12th of this year. The RBI circular had said that even one-day default will lead to resolution of non-performing assets by the bankers, and the Power Ministry opposed the RBI circular, which had come out in February 12th. Now, we understand that Piyush Goyal at a conference held today said that the banking secretary will convene a meeting between the Power Ministry officials and banking officials along with RBI officials, and there will be a presentation from Association of Power Producers on the same issue. And apart from this, the Coal Ministry also discussed the issue of short supply of coal, e-auction of coal linkages and methodology for coal linkages, and also stressed on the fact that commercial mining of coal should happen sooner. Back to you.
We've had preliminary discussions on the Allahabad High Court order, and a formal meeting will soon be convened by the banking secretary along with the Association of Power Producers, the Reserve Bank of India and all other officials to consider the directions of the Honorable Allahabad High Court and prepare a way forward. जहाँ तक जमीन अधिग्रहण का सवाल है, जमीन के विषय में चर्चा चल रही है और हर एक प्रोजेक्ट में कुछ ना कुछ चर्चा और बातचीत से ही समाधान करके प्रोजेक्ट आगे लगाया जाता है. कोई ऐसी समस्या नहीं है जिसका समाधान नहीं किया जा सकेगा. मुझे लगता है जल्द ही महाराष्ट्र और गुजरात दोनों में जमीन की समस्या का हल निकाल के बुलेट ट्रेन का काम अपने निर्धारित समय पे किया जाएगा.
Okay, some important clarifications coming in from the interim finance minister, but former finance minister and Congress leaders P. Chidambaram has hit out at the government's management of the economy. In a press conference, Chidambaram claimed that the despondency of farmers has turned into anger and that the economic conditions have worsened in the last 12 months. Here's what he had to say.
There is widespread anger about the artificially fixed prices of petrol, diesel and LPG. There is absolutely no reason why the prices should be higher today than what they were in May, June 2014. It is nothing but a case of fleecing the helpless consumer. The tires on 3 of the 4 wheels on which the economy rides are punctured. Firstly, exports. The growth rate in the last 4 years has been negative. Secondly, private investment. It is in the doldrums, if not dead. Gross fixed capital formation is stuck at 28.5% for 3 years. Thirdly, private consumption. It was limping until a few months ago. There is a mild uptick, and we keep our fingers crossed. The only tire that seems to be inflated is government expenditure.
Welcome back. You're still with After the Bell on CNBC TV 18. Now, the Road Ministry and National Highways Authority of India have held a 2-day meet to review all ongoing projects. Let's put this into perspective. Ashpreet Sethi is here with the details. Ashpreet, how many projects are being reviewed? What is the large agenda of this meeting? And, you know, amongst the infrastructure players, who were present for this review?
Well, the list, of course, is not with us right now, but the big corporates in the infra space, of course, will be part of the review meetings. Now, NHAI and the Road Ministry will be holding this review as far as 700 projects are concerned. They will be dealing with the road builders, the contractors, concessionaires, state government officials, all which are involved as far as these 700 projects are concerned. The main agenda of the review meeting is, it happens every year, of course, but remember, it is crucial at this point of time because this is the last year before we go into elections, and we have to show that there are some projects which have been completed. So the agenda is to identify 300 projects that will be completed by March 2019. That is what the government official is telling us. In fact, the review meeting held today were for projects in Goa, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, rest of the states will of course be taken up tomorrow. We'll update you as and when we get more details. Back to you.
Okay, Ashpreet, thanks for joining in with that. But let's move on to a story that we have been discussing for many weeks now. Last week, Max Life decided to pull out of the race to buy stake in IDBI Federal Life. Now, this makes AB Sun Life the sole bidder for the life insurance company. But we now learn that the entire deal process may become unviable as AB Birla Sun Life had laid down similar conditions as Max Life, which IDBI Federal Life had earlier failed to respond to. Now, this led to Max Life to decide that they would not pursue the current acquisition opportunity any further. Yash Jain is here with exact details. Yash, put this into perspective. Max walked out, yes, but why is the deal likely to be unviable for Aditya Birla Sun Life?
Well, Kritika, you mentioned about the sole bidder being Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, but things, after all, may not be that simple for Aditya Birla Sun Life as well. Why am I saying that? If you remember, Aditya Birla Sun Life had also placed similar prerequisites as Max Life, because of which the deal called off from Max Life's end. What are these prerequisites? An exclusive bancassurance tie-up for a period of 10 years and performance guarantee when it comes to the bancassurance partnership with the branches of IDBI Bank and Federal Bank. We are given to understand that both sellers, IDBI Bank and Federal Bank, may not be in a situation to put these prerequisites on the agreement in the form of paper officially. If that happens, then there is a strong possibility that Aditya Birla Sun Life may also be forced to review and revisit its decision to acquire 100% stake in IDBI Federal Life Insurance. Now, one very interesting comparison which I was going through, a similar sort of a deal which happened just 10 days ago. Warburg Pincus bought 26% stake in India First Life Insurance for an amount of 710 crore, which essentially valued the company at around 2,700 crore. Now, do remember that India First Life Insurance has about 8,000 bank branches of Bank of Baroda as well as Andhra Bank. Again, look at IDBI Federal Life Insurance. 6,000 crore is the valuation which is being quoted, for which the buyers get a bank network of about 3,000 bank branches. So from every possible mean, the deal looks very expensive in terms of the money which is being paid, and of course the assets which are coming are less than half of what the buyers got in India First Life Insurance. I am not stating that that was the reason for Max Life's exit, but certainly it's a very important point which the buyers would have looked at.
Yash, it is a complicated deal, but, till the deal is done or being called off completely, we never know. But thanks, Yash, for taking us through those exclusive details. For now, quick commercial break. The market value of cryptocurrencies has been eroded by $42 billion this weekend. What's the reason for this erosion? We'll tell you on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching After the Bell on CNBC TV 18. Now, the market value of cryptocurrencies has been eroded by $42 billion over this weekend alone, extending the fall in the value of Bitcoin by over a whopping 50%. Now, the latest tumble essentially comes after CoinRail, a small cryptocurrency exchange in South Korea, announced that it had been hacked. As a result, Bitcoin fell more than 10% to a low of $6,649, which is its lowest level since the 9th of April. To add to those, Bitcoin Blue reports also emerged from the Wall Street Journal that US regulators are investing potential price manipulation at 4 major cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, moving on to some of the other national headlines of the day, former Prime Minister and senior BJP leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee has been admitted to the All India Institute for Medical Sciences. Doctors say he has been taken to the hospital for a routine checkup and is currently under the supervision of senior doctors. Meanwhile, Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav is ready to play second fiddle to BSP to defeat BJP in the 2019 general elections. Akhilesh, who was in Manipur on Sunday for an event, said that his party was open to compromising on seats with the BSP if that is what it takes to win against the Bharatiya Janata Party. There's no rift between me and my brother. That's a clarification by Tejasvi Yadav after reports suggested that Tej Pratap Yadav felt sidelined by his brother. In fact, Tej Pratap called him his guide. Meanwhile, Kashif Jamil, the brother of Dr. Kafil, who recently got bail in the oxygen shortage case at the BRD Medical College Hospital in Gorakhpur, was shot 3 times by assailants last night. He has survived after undergoing emergency surgery, but Dr. Kafil is certain that his family's life is at risk. Well, with that, it's time to wrap up this edition of After the Bell. Many thanks for tuning in and watching the show. But stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. All the market action is lined up on the other side as Markets Today Talkback is up next. Stay tuned for that.